And welcome everybody to another edition of the EGlaze Chronicles. I'm your host, EGlaze. We're streaming live right here on the OTV Media Network. Thank you for joining us on this Monday. I hope your Thanksgiving was great. I know in COVID times, Thanksgiving just ain't the same, but if you had a chance to spend a little time or the video chat or Zoom, sound of my age, or do whatever you could, as long as you can spend a little time. So I feel it's appropriate that our first guest wrote a book, this book right here called You Are Loved During This Period of Time. And this book here is written by Author Tanya Terry. Am I saying that right, Tanya? Is it Tanya
yes,
or Tanya?
Tanya.
Okay.
Now, people want to sound like to say Tanya, but it's Tanya.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm down here in Atlanta, so I hit that Tanya in a minute. So
exactly.
We are going to talk to her about this book, this children's book, You Are Loved. Please join me in welcoming Tanya, not Tanya Terry. How are you today, Tanya?
Look. I'm doing well. I'm in the South too. I mean, I live in Charlotte, but I'm actually in Virginia right now, my family's house.
But that's true. But yeah, that's true. You are in Charlotte, so you're in the South. Let me ask you this, and your book comes out tomorrow. What was it about becoming an author that intrigued you and made you want to be an author?
Being an author was not actually on exactly my list of things. I enjoy working with children. I love working with children. So I didn't know into what capacity that would happen. I mean, I do a lot of stuff. I work in corporate America, but I do a lot of stuff outside of work that, involves children as well. So I had a dream that I wrote a children's book, and, it was a message that I wanted to get out, and that's how that happens. I have really kind of the inspiration though. Like, I have a nephew, he's 2 years old. He loves to, he can't read, of course, but like, he loves to have these books read to him by my brother and my sister-in-law. He loves when auntie reads to him too. And I just see how he, is learning and growing through these stories, and he just loves the pictures, and he's learning his words. So as I'm reading these books to him, it's like, okay, some of these children's books have good messages behind them, and it's important for kids that age to have those messages. And I think when I decided to go ahead and move forward with writing this book, it was also important for me to have representation, and so Black and brown children can see themselves in these stories and relate to these stories more. So that's kind of how that came about. So I had the dream. I woke up, literally sent the person that I was going to work with as far as publishing. She came to mind as well. Her name is Ashley Graham. Her and her brother had started a publishing company several years ago. I sent her a message and was like, yo, I just had this dream. I never did this before. And she, she's like, let's talk. Let's talk this out. And I talked to her. She ran me through the process. And I sent her the manuscript, and we worked on the illustrations. That was the longest part of it, the illustrations as well. So yeah, I'm glad. I'm happy. It's coming out tomorrow. I'm excited.
But you graduated from the University of Virginia, and I know, so you got your corporate America. A lot of people would ask, your first book, a children's book, that had to be the interesting part. You can write about a lot of things, but to have a children's book, why was that important for that to be your first book?
So I think the children's part of it isn't as shocking to me, because again, like I said, I enjoy working with children. So that part wasn't a shock. It was just more so that I wrote it and I did it. But who knows? This might be the door for something else. It's funny. I'm at my parents' house now, and I saw, this is my first published book. But I enjoy journaling and writing. But I found my mom has my very first book that I actually, when you're in grade school and you create your own book and you do the cover and all that stuff and you create the pages, that I have that here. My mom kept that.
Okay.
And it's called If I Had a Puppy. So this ain't the first,
Awesome. Awesome. So you ain't new to this. This is something you've been doing for a while. This is the first time you're publishing it. All right. I got you.
Yes.
I got you. I got you. Talk about the influence of family. Sorry, I break it up a little bit on my end, but you talk about the influence of family, and you're at home with your family now. How much of this you can, because the story, like I say, it's a grandmother talking to and her parents and family involved. How much did they have in the writing of this book? How much influence did they have in the writing of this book?
A lot, actually. I mean, I dedicated it to my parents, because just the love and support that me growing up and just pushing me in a lot of ways outside of my comfort zone, and exposing me, making sure they expose me to different things. And the book actually, like you said, it's a grandmother kind of speaking to the child. And I realized like families they all look different these days. It's not necessarily a 2-parent household. It could be single parent, could be, grandparent, could be friends, whatever. Just the point of it is that there's somebody there pouring love and support into these young children.
Right. And that's big importance because, being from the South, grandparents are so important and things of that nature. I thought the book. So I want to ask you this question. I love that question. First time you saw the art, you saw the book, you saw your name on it. What was the feeling for you to see the actual work completed? What was that feeling like?
It was overwhelming, like in a good way. Like, oh my gosh,
Right.
This really happened. Because honestly, today, sometimes I'm like, did this really happen? I still got to kind of pinch myself like, wow, this really came to fruition and it looks great and it's being well received. At least, when I put it out there, because that's the other thing. It's like, I got to the end of the process and, they're like, okay, now we put it out there. Like, we're gonna market it, like, gonna put it, these kids need to see this. And I'm like, yes, they do. And then I got nervous, like, because it's like, like any artist, and somebody had said this to me, it's like any artist, you like sensitive about your stuff, like you want to make sure that, like what my vision was for it, the message that I was trying to put out there for kids is being received in that way, and that people are, that is just well received.
And I think that's something I like to keep pointing out because now you are an artist and being sensitive about your stuff and putting it out there. What is more nerve-wracking, the sell of the book or the response of the book, or overall, what is more nerve-wracking for you right
now? Not necessarily the sell of the book. It's not like I did this for a second income or like, it's a positive message that I just wanted to put out there. For me, it's just that it's well received and that people, again, whoever the message is for, like I said, it's for kids, but I hope that, as parents are reading it to their kids, that they, feel encouraged as well. Because, some of these books, like I said, parents reading their children these books and these messages are like for the parents too. So it's for children, but I mean, it's really a good message for adults as well.
I think books like this are right on time because of what we're going through in 2020. I think the release of your book is a good thing because people need to feel that love. I don't want to put that like it's what did you mean to release it at this time, but releasing it in time, making people feel this needing to be this love. Do you feel like that's important right now and getting people to understand that, especially for children to really feel that right now with so much going on with the displacement of school, where people get sick? I don't want to say that it was the deepest of thoughts of it, but the time of the release, was it important? Did you have a part in it and wanted to release it now at this particular time?
This was all God's timing. So this wasn't, I put it out there in December, and the timing of it is just, it's all actually very interesting because the release date was even before we even knew about, Kamala, because again, in the book, it talks about, encouraging children that they can be anything they want to be. And specifically, this is a young, African-American girl that's pictured in this story. And then, I mean, this election could have went, who knows? But, I think it was like timely in the fact that like the message in there is that, you can be anything you want to be. And it kind of lists out, even different things. And she's sitting in school, she's thinking about it. And then like the timing of this release is like, we just had, a vice president-elect, Kamala Harris, who's a woman of color, like they're realizing these images. And then even through the election process, I mean, the dissension that was just created even in this country, not even through the election, but even before that, with the police and just racial tensions. I think it was important. And I think it's timely that, kids are seeing this and hearing this message. And then, even for like how, to love others, because we haven't seen that. The images in the news, the images, through this election, we've seen grown adults act like, so I think it was important to reinforce, that positivity and that, and to be kind and love others, it's important.
Let me ask you this, Tanya. This book is inspirational, but what inspires you?
What inspires me? Again, I'm a woman of faith. I feel like, whatever I can do to give back or to help others, it's important to me. Family is very big. I'm very big on family. I value my friendships. Those are the things that just being good and giving back to others is just important to me.
I think that's something I always love to hear from inspiration from people, because when you're being inspirational, there's always something that kicks in, and faith and family are very good things to have to push that. When you saw the cover of the young lady on there, I know hey guys, I know who illustrated the book, but to see the cover of the young lady that was on the book, was she exactly what you pictured?
So we worked on the cover. I mean, the theme actually of the cover was Love Lifted Me. So like she's kind of, with
Gotcha.
the hearts under her and she's being lifted up, and the skies in the background. So that was kind of the theme of it. And I, working with the illustrator, I kind of gave them, okay, this is what I'm looking for. And then when it came to fruition, I was just like, I love it. I love the concept. I don't know if people pick that up when they first look at it, but that's kind of the theme. And she's looking up, and it's, she's looking up kind of at the words that you are loved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Let me put it back up there. Let me see. Yep, you're right. All right. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it is right there. Everybody here, you're on the EGlaze Chronicles. We're interviewing author Tanya Terry, author of the book, You Are Loved. And as you can see, I love the hearts and yeah, man. It's even deeper now that you pointed that out. Well, let me ask you this, being a lady of color and doing that, and now you're publishing this book, how important is it for you to portray or to show that that you can do anything? You are in corporate America, you're a college graduate, now you're an author. So your list of accomplishments are growing. For you to portray a lady that you can do much. And you talked about Kamala. We've seen what she's doing, the first vice president of the United States and things of that nature. But how important is that for you when people see Tanya Terry, author Tanya Terry, that they see someone who's accomplishing and can achieving goals? How important is that for you?
Yeah, I think that's the main thing of that is just achieving goals. Like, because yes, I might have written a book and technically an author now. But that's not just all who I am, you know, but I want people to know I'm just regular person too. Like, and, you know, just walking through this life and figuring it out. And if something comes to me, or if you feel like you have a dream or like a purpose behind a message, put it out there. Don't be afraid. This was a vulnerable process for me. Like I said, I never thought I'd be writing a book, but it happens and it's being received. So you never know when you put your vision or your purpose out there, and especially if it's a good message to help encourage others, it's gonna go a long way. It's gonna go a long way. So that's kind of, you know, again, you can be an author, you can, you know, be a doctor, whatever. But again, what's the purpose behind it? Like, where's your heart? Um, and just go for it.
Just go for it. Let me ask you this. I saw where you're a traveler. You've traveled the world except for one continent. Just talk about that experience. A lot of people would love to travel. You know, I'm scared of the oceans. I can go around America, but traveling the oceans, you traveled pretty much everywhere. How important has that been as a life to be able to travel and see the world? How important has that been?
Very important. Just to get out of, you know, just your own space and your own city, and experience different cultures and see so many beautiful things. That is just, it's been very eye-opening for me. You know, and just because you read about these different places, you see the pictures, but when you actually see it in person and you interact with, you know, these different cultures, and experience it for yourself, it's nothing like it. I mean, I love it. I love traveling to different countries. And so, yes, Antarctica is the only one I haven't been to, which actually was out on the list. I was actually trying to rally some of my friends to go with me. Everybody's like, it's too cold over there.
Yeah,
And I was like, we're
just a
going to
lot
go
of
in the wintertime
yeah.
when it's cold here. We're going to go to Antarctica. And, you know, what we going to do? Everybody was like, yeah. I was like, I think I might have to do this by myself. Like, what's going to happen? But I wanted to do it. And then COVID happened. And so, yeah, we'll have to figure that out.
Just something about saying I'm going to Antarctica that doesn't really, yeah. You know, every other place you're like, oh, that's like Antarctica. Yeah, okay. All right. I mean,
It's
I know
off the
you're trying to
beaten path,
complete it, but
but, you know.
yeah. How has this been for you? Being a new author, doing these these presses and interviews and things of that nature. How has this process been for you?
Completely out of my comfort zone. I am actually a very much an introvert, an extroverted introvert, because a lot, you know, some of my friends are like, you ain't no introvert, but yes, I gain my energy when I kind of retreat back to myself. I just so being on these podcasts, like having these talks is very, I do better one-on-one, but then when it's like, you know, large groups and even live recordings, yeah, it's
Yeah. You're doing a great job. So the other thing I want to ask, do you have your hand ready to autograph books and things of that nature? Because I'm sure people are gonna want to. They're gonna want to get your name inscribed in these books. I mean, how's that going to be for you?
yeah, I mean, as it allows, as you know, the interaction with folks allows, I definitely will do that. I don't have the best penmanship, but I definitely will sign.
Those are the best authors, the ones you can't read. You give us just scribble it out and get it done with. Just do that.
Yes, it's funny because I saw my best friend this weekend, and she was down in Virginia at her in-laws, and I brought two books for her daughters or my goddaughters. So I signed and tried to write a note in there, and I was like, I kind of messed up, and I was like, I got to get this right. I gotta figure out
You
this
got to
signing
get that
thing.
right. You got to get that right.
Can I just sign my name? Do I have to
You
put a
got to get
message in
that
there?
down.
So
You are loved. Maybe just put that in there
they said,
underneath or something. You know, get it going.
I gotta work on that.
Let me ask you, you talk about and we'll wrap it up with a few more. Having people see your work, especially not just people, your family. You talk about the inspiration from your parents and your nephew and people around you, your friend and their kids. How is that for you, for them to see your work and receive your work and to be like, this is really good and things of that nature?
It just, like I said, it's overwhelming. Like I just feel so thankful and, to hear them say, I'm proud of you, like that's just really, it means a lot. It means a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely like encouraged. And again, like I said, I stepped out of my comfort zone and look what happened. And then I think it's even more when I shared the book with my nephew, read it to him. Because again, like I said, he's really a big part of this as well. When I read it to him and just his engagement and he pointing at the pictures and I was at the end of it, he's only 2 again. At the end, I was like, did you like this story? He's like, yeah. And he does his thing and he's like, oh yeah. So just to like, oh yeah. Just to see his like action.
I got to steal that from him now.
Oh yeah. But just to see his reaction and like, even that the story that I because I did write a story about him too. That was the other piece of my writing that I'm perfecting now, trying to make sure that that's good. But that he can look back years from now and say, my auntie, wrote a story about me, and like, that right there, that's a lot. That means a lot.
Well, you pretty much answered my last question. I mean, when you do one, everybody's going to look for 2, even though one hasn't been released yet. Could you see a string of books, the other realms that you get into with this? I mean, this is one I always feel like, when I read children's books, when I was growing up, that's a long time ago, be able to see a book in a library and pick it out and things of that nature. Is this something that you can see doing more of and get more out there as you get these, because, once people read this one, I think they're going to be like, yo, I need more from Tanya. So what are your thoughts about future work and things of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, as it comes to me, I definitely will be obedient and move forward. Like I said, that the only other one that I have other ideas, but the one that I have really just already kind of put together was the other one was about my nephew, and that one's a little bit longer than this story. But they're both written in like a poem format.
Gotcha. Well, the book is called, again, You Are Loved, by author Tanya Terry. Tell them where they can, comes out tomorrow. Tell them where they can get a copy, and where would you, tell them everywhere. You can tell them where you can go, where they can go find it from you or on Amazon. Tell them where they can get this book at tomorrow.
Okay, so yes, Amazon and Barnes & Noble online. It's actually on their Amazon now, so you could pre-order tonight if you wanted to. Yay. But will be available effective tomorrow. Yes. You can reach out to me directly to social media on Facebook and Instagram, author _Tanya with an A, TANYA, like you see there, _Terry. So you can also reach out to me directly, book directly from me as well.
There it is. Tanya, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. Best of luck to you. I'm going to give my information to our mutual friend, Olivia, so I can get a copy. I want a signed copy. Figure something out to put on there.
I got you.
I can get a copy.
Thank you.
But did you tell them where to go find you at, where they can follow you at as well? Did you get them on
Yes.
that?
I gave on IG and Facebook, author _Tanya _Terry.
Author _Tanya _Terry. Thank you so much. Best of luck. The book is out tomorrow. You can pre-order it now. I checked it out on Amazon. I'm like, oh, there she is. Beautiful. Love the cover. As you can see, the beautiful young lady on the cover with surrounded by hearts. You are loved. Best of luck to you, Tanya. Glad you came on the show.
Thank you.
To everybody out there, you are loved as well, and continue to optimize your visions. Have a great day. We'll see y'all later. Thank you.
Thank you.